Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that, sometimes silence speaks louder than 1,000 words. And when a man truly misses you, he doesn't always come out and say it. You won't always see it in a text or hear it in a call, but you'll feel it. Because when a man's heart remembers a woman who once gave him peace, her absence becomes a presence he can't escape. He'll walk around pretending he's fine, telling himself he's over it, smiling in front of his friends, laughing at small jokes. But deep down, there's a quiet ache that sits in his chest. That's the kind of missing that doesn't fade away overnight. That's the kind of missing that whispers when he's alone, when the lights go off, when nobody's watching, and his soul starts talking louder than his pride. See, missing someone isn't about the grand gestures. It's not about scrolling through old pictures and sending a message out of loneliness. It's about those moments when life feels incomplete without the presence of that one person who once brought calm in the chaos. When he misses you deeply, it's not because he doesn't have other distractions. It's because you reached a part of him that very few people ever did. And that part doesn't forget, even when his mind tries to. There are signs, subtle signs, that show when a man misses you in ways he can't say. You can't always see them on the surface, but they live in his habits, his silence, and his energy. They hide behind the way he behaves, the way he checks your stories but doesn't reply, the way he posts something indirect, hoping you'll catch the message. He might not be reaching out, but he's reaching inward, wrestling with emotions he never thought he'd feel again. Because when a man misses you deeply, he's not just missing your body, he's missing your energy, your voice, your peace, your understanding, your presence that once made him feel grounded when everything else felt uncertain. Sometimes he'll miss you in the smallest moments, hearing a song that takes him back, smelling a perfume that reminds him of that one night you laughed until you couldn't breathe, or walking past a cafe where you once sat together, talking about everything and nothing at the same time. That's when his chest tightens, not because of regret, but because of realization that not everyone brings the same calm you did. Not everyone understands him without words. And not everyone will see him the way you saw him. The first hidden sign that he misses you deeply is the one he won't ever admit his silence. When a man goes quiet, it's not always because he doesn't care. Sometimes it's because he's afraid that if he reaches out, he'll lose his pride. Silence becomes his wall, his defense. But in that silence, there's noise, the noise of memories replaying in his mind, the sound of your laughter echoing in his heart, the whisper of your name. When he lays awake at 2 a.m., he may ignore your messages, but he's rereading your old ones. He may pretend he's moved on, but he's still carrying a piece of you in his thoughts. His silence is not emptiness, it's reflection. And in that reflection, he's realizing how much space you truly took up in his world. You see, silence has a language. And when a man truly misses you, his silence speaks volumes. You'll see it in the way he hesitates to block you, in the way he checks your profile late at night, in the way he tries to convince himself that you were just a phase when deep down he knows you were peace. That's the kind of missing that hurts differently. That's the kind of missing that humbles a man. The second hidden sign that he misses you deeply shows up in his changes. He starts to shift in subtle ways. Maybe he starts working harder, staying busier, trying to fill that void that once was filled by your energy. Maybe he starts showing interest in things you used to love, or hanging around people who remind him of your vibe. He'll tell himself he's evolving, but the truth is, he's searching for pieces of you in everything he does. He might even start posting motivational quotes, things about healing or growth, not because he's completely healed, but because he's trying to convince himself he's okay without you. And that's the battle between his ego and his heart. When a man misses you deeply, he begins to reflect on his mistakes, not in public, but in private. He replays conversations, remembers moments when you tried to explain your feelings and he didn't listen, moments when you needed him to show up and he didn't. And now that replay becomes a loop in his mind. That's the moment he starts realizing you weren't asking for too much. You were asking for consistency, for emotional connection, for peace. That realization hits differently when you're gone. That's why they say sometimes your absence becomes your loudest voice. Because when you're no longer available, he starts hearing everything he ignored before. And the third hidden sign that he misses you deeply is the energy shift, the way he starts acting different without knowing why. He may start feeling restless, easily irritated, emotionally tired. Because when two souls once shared a real bond, even distance can't erase that energy. He'll feel your pull without a single word being spoken. Maybe he doesn't understand it. Maybe he doesn't want to, but he feels it. You become a thought that crosses his mind at random hours, a memory that interrupts his distractions, a calm that he can't find elsewhere. He'll try to date someone new, but something always feels off. The conversations don't flow the same. The laughter doesn't sound as real. The comfort doesn't come naturally. Because when a man misses you deeply, he realizes that connection isn't easily replaced. You might think he's forgotten you, but his energy will tell a different story. When he misses you on that soul level, your absence starts shaping his reality. He starts looking at love differently, understanding emotions deeper, respecting peace more. He begins to realize what love really meant. Not control, not attention, but presence. The kind of love that feels like home. The kind that doesn't demand, but simply exists. When a man misses you deeply, there's a quiet transformation that begins inside him. He might not say it, he might not show it, but he starts changing. And that change is his way of responding to the echo of your energy. He starts valuing peace more, starts understanding the weight of losing someone who brought real emotion into his life. Sometimes that missing turns into growth. Sometimes it turns into regret, but either way, it changes him. There's a moment every man faces, the one where he finally admits to himself that he lost something rare. That's the moment the ego breaks and the soul speaks. That's the moment he realizes that you weren't just a chapter, you were a lesson in patience, in understanding, in unconditional energy. He starts seeing that not every woman will love him with that same softness, that same forgiveness, that same presence. And that's when he begins to truly miss you, not just as a memory, but as a feeling. Sometimes he'll come back, not to start over, but to feel your energy again. Sometimes he'll stay silent forever, but he'll carry you in his spirit. Because when someone touches your soul, they don't disappear. They just live quietly in the corners of your heart, and you live in his. So if you're out there wondering whether he misses you, pay attention to the silence, to the small changes, to the energy that lingers even when words don't. If he ever felt you on that soul level, trust me, he feels the emptiness too. You don't have to chase. You don't have to prove anything. Just keep being the peace he couldn't handle, the calm he couldn't match, the woman who knew her worth even when he didn't. Because missing someone deeply is a silent confession. And even when he doesn't say it, his spirit already has. That's the truth about love, growth, and connection. When it's real, it doesn't end. It just shifts. It teaches. it humbles, and sometimes it returns not for a new beginning, but for closure, for peace, or for gratitude. Because no matter how strong he pretends to be, no man ever forgets the woman who made him feel seen, who made him feel loved without judgment, who brought him closer to his own emotions. That's the kind of missing that leaves an imprint no time can erase. So don't waste your peace trying to force what's already speaking in silence. You don't have to be in his life to be on his mind. You don't have to text him to be felt. You already left your mark in his habits, in his emotions, in his growth. That's what happens when you touch a man's soul. That's what happens when love was pure, when presence was real, when peace was the connection. You don't need validation to know he misses you. His energy already said it all. Keep your heart soft, your boundaries strong, and your energy clear. Because when love was real, it echoes forever. And somewhere out there, even if he never says it, he's missing you deeply, quietly, endlessly, in ways words can't reach. Let me tell you something about missing someone. Because when a man truly misses you, he might never say it with his words, but his silence will scream it louder than anything you've ever heard. See, people think missing someone is all about sending texts, calling, or posting something sad online, but it's way deeper than that. Missing someone shows up in the quiet moments, in the late nights when his phone is in his hand, but he doesn't know what to say, in the way he scrolls through your old messages trying to find the right one to relive the warmth he once felt when you were right there. That's the real side of it. That's the side nobody tells you about. Because missing someone is a silent war between pride and love. And most of the time, love loses because pride speaks first. You see, when a man misses you deeply, he goes through this inner confusion that eats him up because men are taught to be tough, to act like they don't care, to move on like it's nothing, but deep down, it's something. Deep down, he's thinking about that one laugh you had that made him feel at peace, that one small thing you said that stuck to his soul. He's thinking about how no one's smile feels the same, how no one's energy hits like yours did. And it's driving him crazy because he's trying to fill that space with noise. But the truth is, your absence is louder than anything he's listening to. Let me paint you a picture, because I know someone listening right now needs to hear this. Imagine him sitting in his car after a long day, the music playing low, and that one song comes on, the one that reminds him of you. He freezes for a second, then laughs it off, changes the song. But guess what? The next one brings you back again. Because when you've touched someone's soul, you don't just disappear, you echo. Every part of their world starts to whisper your name in ways they can't control. And listen, missing someone isn't just about wanting to talk again. It's about realizing the weight of what they had and lost. When a man misses you deeply, you'll see it in his actions, even when he's silent. He'll start to pop up in small ways, liking your old photo at 2 a.m., watching your story without saying a word, asking mutual friends how you're doing, but pretending he doesn't care. That's not coincidence. That's longing. That's him trying to feel close without crossing the line because he's afraid of rejection, but desperate for connection. And that's one of the hardest battles a man can face. Wanting you, but being too afraid to say it. Now, let's talk about the emotional part of it, because this one goes deep. You see, when a man misses you truly, it's not just about missing your face or your body. It's about missing the peace you brought to his spirit. It's about missing the version of himself that existed when you were around. Because you made him feel seen. You made him feel understood. You brought out the better in him without even trying. And when that's gone, he starts to feel lost. That's why sometimes after you pull away, after you stop chasing, after you stop texting, he starts to feel the emptiness set in. He realizes the silence isn't peaceful anymore, it's haunting. He realizes that all those small things he thought didn't matter were the things holding him together. See, when a man misses you, he won't always show it right away. Men process differently. He might go out, act like he's fine, hang out with friends, talk to someone new just to distract himself. But in those quiet hours when no one's around, when the lights are off, his heart starts talking and it says your name over and over. That's when the missing hits hardest. That's when he replays the moments, the memories, the laughter, the love. That's when he starts to understand that what you gave wasn't replaceable. That's when the truth hits him like a wave. She wasn't just someone, she was the one who saw me for who I was. And here's the thing people don't understand. Missing someone doesn't always mean they'll come back. Sometimes it just means they finally understand your worth too late. But that doesn't mean you lost. Because when someone misses you from a place of truth, it means you made an impact. You touched their life in a way that even distance can't erase. You became a memory that doesn't fade. And that's something powerful. Because not everyone gets to be someone's peace in a storm. I know some of you sitting there might be saying, if he misses me, why doesn't he call? Let me tell you why. Because ego is heavy. Pride is powerful. And sometimes the fear of vulnerability keeps people stuck. He might type that message 100 times, but delete it every time. He might check your page, see you smiling, and convince himself you're over him. That right there, that's the pain he doesn't show. He's missing you, but he's also battling the thought that maybe he already lost you. That's a war between the heart and the mind that no man wants to admit. And you, the one listening, you're not crazy for feeling his energy, even when he's gone silent. Energy never lies. When a man misses you deeply, you feel it. It's that random moment you think of him out of nowhere. It's that dream that brings his face back after weeks. It's that gut feeling that tells you his soul is thinking of you. That's not just your imagination, that's connection. Because real connections don't die, they shift. They grow quiet, but they still breathe. I want you to understand something about love and absence. Sometimes God removes people not to punish, but to teach. Sometimes distance is the only way someone can realize what they had, because people take warmth for granted when it's always around. They forget how rare peace feels until it's gone. And when he starts missing you, he's not just missing your messages or your laughter. He's missing the safety of your presence, the way your energy calmed his chaos, the way you made love feel effortless. You were never too much. You were just too real for someone who wasn't ready. And that's why he misses you so deeply now, because realness can't be replaced. You can copy looks, you can fake conversations, but you can't recreate soul. When you've touched a man's soul with your authenticity, he'll carry that imprint forever. He might move on, but he won't forget, because you showed him what real connection feels like. And once someone experiences that, everything else feels empty. Let me tell you something powerful. Missing you doesn't always look romantic. Sometimes it looks like him trying to distract himself with work, like him sitting in traffic lost in thought, like him staring at the ceiling wondering how things went wrong. It's subtle, it's hidden, but it's real. Because missing someone is not just a thought, it's a feeling that sinks into your bones. And when a man truly misses you, it changes him. It humbles him. It makes him softer in ways he'll never admit. And you don't have to chase validation to know if he misses you. The fact that you feel that connection is proof enough that what you had was genuine. The universe has a funny way of keeping souls connected, even when the world tries to separate them. Sometimes missing someone is just the soul's way of saying, we're not done learning yet. But that doesn't mean you wait in pain. You keep growing. You keep shining, because the one who misses you deeply will either step up or spend forever wondering what life would have been if they had. So when you start missing him back, take a breath and remember, you're not the only one feeling it. You're not imagining it. Somewhere in his own quiet space, he's missing you too. He's fighting his own emotions, trying to act strong, but his heart keeps pulling your name. And no matter how much time passes, when something real touches your soul, it leaves a mark that time can't wash away. That's the beauty and the pain of connection. Because the truth is, when a man misses you deeply, he may not show it, but you'll always feel it. And maybe that's the real message of love, not always in words, not always in contact, but in that invisible bond that still tugs on both hearts, reminding them what once was and maybe what could still be. You ever sit alone and think about someone who's not around anymore, and it's like their energy still lingers in the air, like even though they're gone, something about them still sits quietly in the corners of your heart. That's how it feels when someone misses you but can't say it. You start to feel the pull, that invisible string between two souls that refuses to break no matter how far life pulls you apart. See, when someone truly misses you, it's not about what they post. It's not about the words they say. It's about the energy you can still feel even in the silence. That's how you know the connection was real, because real love doesn't disappear. It transforms. It hides behind pride, behind pain, behind distance, but it's still there, quietly breathing, quietly remembering.